Hey there, this is the official Battle Brothers tutorial video. In this video I will quickly show you the basics of the game and explain the basic features and mechanics so that you can get started. The game itself is pretty complex, so you will have to rely on the tooltips that we are using throughout the game to explain all mechanics and features. And just hover over something that you want to know more about, and then you will get some additional information. Battle Brothers is a game where you manage a mercenary company in a medieval fantasy world. It's about hiring new men, fulfilling contracts to gain coins, which we call crowns, and mainly about the tactical combat. So let's head into the game. Usually before starting a new campaign you should have a look at the scenarios. We have a variety of scenarios that get more and more challenging. So let's start with the Comet Basics. This is a really simple scenario that we have put into the game to explain the basic mechanics and get you accompanied with how the tactical combat plays out without too much to worry about. You start out with 3 Battle Brothers over here, and you have always one active brother. Down here you can see the turn bar. And the next would be, right now it's Ferdinand's turn, then it would be Torkel, then Alrik, and then the enemies will move. So this will move from right to left. The active brother is moving a little, so you can tell whose turn it is. And regarding the actions, you can usually use the left mouse button and hold it to drag the screen around. And with the left, if you just click the left mouse button, it will draw a line where the character, Ferdinand in this case, will move, and it will highlight the movement path. And if you are moving so far that Ferdinand will not be able to reach this position in one turn, it will gray out. So this is the furthest that Ferdinand can move. Regarding the character stats, let's just quickly go over the most important ones. To see them all, I will open the character screen, which you do by clicking on this little bag, or the I or C button will work as well. And this is the character screen, where we have the character, the name. Here you can see the level, the experience points. Of course, in the scenarios we don't have them, just in the campaign. And here's the paper doll with all the equipment slots. Here you can see the skills that the character can use, and down here we have all the additional information about the character, all the stats. Let's quickly go through these. This is the accessory slot, which we will not be using in the early access version of the game. Later there will be amulets and so on equipable here. Then we have a head armor. That's very important to negate hits to the head. That's our equivalent of critical hits, so if you hit somebody it will have a chance to hit the head or hit the body, and according to the hit zone it will of course hit the head armor or the body armor. So there's a helmet. The helmet will maybe decrease the vision range and have other effects as well. Here's an ammo slot where archers will put the ammo, and then you have a main hand and an offhand. Usually a shield is worn in the offhand. A shield increases your defensive abilities, so you are harder to hit. And an axe will of course allow you to attack. And then of course every character has 2 backpack slots where you can store additional items and change them in combat. The little lock, by the way, means that armor cannot be changed while in combat, whereas you can pick up items that are on the ground, like additional shields or weapons. Now we have the skills. The skills are actually given by the weapon and the shield. So these 2 skills are given by the axe, for example. It's a chop. It's an attack that does increased damage to the head, and a split shield that can be used to destroy enemy shields. Then we have from the shield, we have 2 skills. That's the knockback, that can be used to knock back an enemy by 1 tile, and the shield wall that's used to even further increase your defensive abilities. As you can see, when I switch over to another character like Torkel, he has a spear. The spear grants different abilities, like the thrust that has a highly increased chance to hit, and the spear wall, that's a defensive ability. I don't want to go into too many details, you will see for yourself and just use the tooltip to find out what all the skills do. Now down here we have some of the character stats. These are the head armor, the body armor, the hit points, and then we have the action points that are used to perform skills and to move. Then we have the fatigue. The fatigue gradually increases on every action you take. If you're attacking or moving, your fatigue increases and it will decrease every turn. Armor will reduce the fatigue you have, not the fatigue, but your fatigue limit. And if your fatigue actually hits this limit, you won't be able to perform any more actions. So soldiers will get exhausted during the fight. Then we have the morale. That is a very important stat. If the character gets wounded or his allies are killed, the morale will decrease, giving them combat penalties, and otherwise the other way around. If you kill enemies, your morale can increase and give you combat bonuses. This is a resolve. It's used for determining whether your morale is increasing or decreasing, and also if you run in the campaign, run out of food or run out of money, the mercenaries with the low resolve will leave your party earlier. Then we have an initiative that will determine the turn order in combat. And then we have the melee skill and the ranged skill. This determines your hit chance when you're attacking. And otherwise round we have melee defense, ranged defense that will decrease the enemy's chance of hitting you. This is the damage, this depends on the weapon equipped. This is the effectiveness versus armor. An axe is pretty effective, so it does 120% when hitting armor. The spear is at 100% and the sword is at 85%, so it's better to use against unarmored opponents. Then we have the chance to hit the head and the vision range. You can see that the vision of Ferdinand is reduced by his helmet by 1 point, the other guys have 6 fields. So these are the basic stats. Now into the let's move towards our enemies. You just left click and then confirm by another left click. So let's just move up towards these zombies. Those are not very dangerous enemies, so we're just gonna move up as far as possible. Just like so. Moving up with Torquil as well, and the same with Eirik. We're just rushing them right now. That's not usually the best tactic you can do, but you should be okay. Now it's the enemy's turn, the skeleton moving forward. Attacking, you can see Alric's armor is a little beat up, and when hovering over him you can see that his body armor is actually reduced. Now we are using the skills ourselves. We're going to use a chop to attack and then determine the target again with a left click. We've got a 65% chance to hit, like so, and this was obviously a hit to the head. It was a very good hit, and sending the head of the zombie flying, which is very good because zombies have a chance to be resurrected and they will get up again. Quickly, the red markers over here are the zone of control. That is very important because if you enter the zone of control of an enemy or the enemy enters yours, you won't be able to move away without the enemy getting a free attack. I will just quickly demonstrate. If I move over here, this zombie will get a free attack, and if it hits, I'm not allowed to move. He didn't hit me, so I was able to get away with Ferdinand. Zone of control is one of the key concepts. This is how you can lock enemies in place, or if you get into contact with the enemy archers, they won't be able to move away without you getting a free attack. Okay, let's quickly attack, use the thrust to attack. And attack with Eirik as well. We're gonna kill this Wiedergänger. The skeleton are very, very squishy, but they this one has a shield, and that makes them very resilient to all our attacks. So we are going to use our split shield and start destroying his shield. It's still up a little. Oh, we almost killed him. Just going to try again. And there we go. Now we destroyed all the enemies, and then we get the Comet statistics showing the number of kills, the damage dealt, the experience earned. Of course, in the scenario, the experience is not important, and the damage received. You can see that Eirik has received 27 armor damage. And on the other tab, there's the loot. So in the campaign, we could now collect the loot of the enemies and then leave the combat. So there you have it. This is the basics of the combat. And I will now quickly show you the key features of the world map of the campaign. So this is how we do it. We start a new campaign. You can choose a banner and rename your mercenary company, and you can choose a difficulty. Difficulty is mainly about the economics of the game, because on easier you will have more money and better availability of equipment, and that is a really big deal in the game, because armor and better equipment is absolutely crucial for your success. We recommend starting a game on normal difficulty. If you find yourself running out of money too quickly, then you should maybe go to easier. Okay, now we're in the game. You can see the introduction. It gives you a little more about the background of the world and your mercenary company. And of course we have an early access disclaimer saying that we are still working intensively on the game, and there may be some bugs and some balancing issues, and we're looking forward to your feedback to make the game even better. Now let's start. You will start out usually next to a bigger city, but all the surroundings is randomly generated, so you will have a different world map every time you're starting a game. Just gonna quickly pause the game by pressing space and go over the user interface. First of all, your resources. You have crowns. This is the money you have. You will use it to buy equipment, hire mercenaries, but you also have to pay your mercenaries a daily wage. Then you have provisions. That is the food that your mercenaries are consuming every day. And keep in mind, if you're moving through difficult terrain, you will use a lot more food, and if you run out of food, your mercenaries will start deserting you. Then you have tools and supplies, which are used to repair armor and weapons. Then you have ammunition that is used to refill your quivers of your bows and crossbows and javelins. And you have medicinal supplies that are used to heal wounds of your battle brothers. Then you have the time of the day. We have day and night time. At night you're slowed down and your vision range also decreases, and if you are fighting on the tactical combat map at night, you will have also decreased vision range, and your archers won't be as effective as they would be on during daylight. Then this is your battle roster. Now you can see you have 3 out of maximum of 12 battle brothers. And here you can see your active contract. It's grayed out because we don't have a contract right now. The first thing you should do is, of course, unpause the game and then head into the city. This is the city screen where all the interaction happens. You can see your resources over here, and you can see your battle roster over here. Let's have a quick look into this one. And these are, you know this from the tactical combat. Here you have your 3 battle brothers. You always start out with 3 procedurally generated battle brothers. Here's the paper doll. I just mentioned that, the skills, and these are character traits. People, depending on their background, start with different character traits. So before heading out and before equipping the guys, you should have a close look at the traits, because some of them are really powerful and there are some negative traits as well. So, for example, Einar is irrational, giving him a +10 or -10 bravery randomly at all morale checks. Also, he's gluttonous, that means he's using more food provisions. So we have around 40 character backgrounds with adding more every day. So the chance of you drawing the same character twice is really slim, because the traits are also randomly assigned. And this is the stash, so this is where you can stash all your equipment. Just put it there and then distribute it amongst your men. Okay, let's head back to the overview screen. This is city screen. First thing you should do is go ahead and hire some mercenaries. This is in every town you will be able to hire mercenaries. This is the mercenary list. You can see the price and the daily wage. So on the right hand you have the background story, which is also procedurally generated, so it will be different even if you have 2 lumberjacks. They won't have the same background story, so make sure to read through these, because they tell you a little about the character, and maybe you want to hire somebody because you like him or you like his story. And you can see his equipment over here. So the better the equipment, usually the higher the cost, and the better the character stats, also the higher the costs. Okay, let's head back. Over here you can, in the shop, you can buy and sell equipment. This is what we have in our stash, and this is what the trader has. You can see you can buy provisions, ammunition and all that stuff, or buy weapons to equip your brothers. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. And on the right hand side you have some contract givers, and this is the starting contract. That will be actually the same for every game you're starting. And the first contract is about raising an bandit outpost. So we will accept that. You should accept that contract, and then you should hire some men, buy some equipment, equip your men, and then head out towards the bandit hideout, and then you will enter your first tactical combat against these bandits. That will be the first baptism of fire for your battle brothers. One last thing we have to talk about is the progression. I was telling you about this earlier. You have the experience. If the experience reaches its maximum, the character increases by 1 level. That will be levels 1 to 10. And on level up you can increase some character stats, and also you can choose a perk. So these are the 3 trees. We have offense, defense and utility. And the second tier and third tier will unlock, the third one will unlock when you have 3 perks in the first one, and this third tier will unlock when you have 3 on the first and 2 on the second. And then you can choose one of these. On the tier 3 they are very powerful. Let's have a quick look at what they could be like. For example, this is an offensive perk, Bloody Harvest. It's increases your to hit chance for all AoE attacks by 15%. For example, then we have let's have a quick look at one of the defensive perks. This shield expert will increase the bonus you get from a shield. So be very careful about which tree you're putting your skill points in, and how you want to build a character. And there's a lot of room for experimentation and trying out new things. Just the same as with the weapons, we have all kinds of different weapons in the game. So you have to tailor your troop to your personal desires. So this is it. This is a very, very basic tutorial. And if you have any ideas, questions or feedback, just leave it in our forums on our website. The link is in the description, or hit us up on our social channels. And if you want to follow the development, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube. We hope you have a lot of fun with the early access version of Battle Brothers, and bye!